Only one man would dare give me the raspberry. PDubs! Hey everybody, today is Sunday, February 16th, 2020, and this is Episode 7 of the Loft Report, your arcade and gaming podcast. That's right, we are your number 2 source for arcade and gaming news. As always, I'm your host, Patrick, good old PDubs. Appreciate you hanging out upstairs with us. And today, on episode number 7, we're going to ask the question, should we give a nod to Nod? How did AtGames do on National Owners Day, as well as on the Legends Gamer new product that got announced, as well as some updates to Arcadenet and new games that have recently been added to Arcadenet right after this. Okay guys, welcome back, and just as a reminder, the Loft Report Arcade and Gaming Podcast can be found on all of your favorite podcast listening platforms, whether it be Google, Spotify, Apple, Pocket Cast, Anchor, Spreaker. It's all over the place, baby. iHeartRadio as well. All you have to do is check out the links in the video description below, and you can follow the podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. We appreciate the support. Also, of course, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. That way you can catch the podcast here recorded live for your viewing pleasure as well. Either way works for me. Just as long as you enjoy the content and find it valuable, I greatly appreciate the support. Now, taking a look at AtGames. So this is episode 7. Do we give a nod to Nod? How do we feel AtGames did for their National Owners Day, which just happened on February 14th, 2020, Valentine's Day. So taking a look, earlier in the month, AtGames declared February would be National Pinball Party Month, which got a lot of us excited, myself included. I made some videos, and so did other guys, and we were all wondering, is this the month they're going to announce their pinball machine? And we got really, really excited about it, and we figured what better time to announce your pinball machine but on National Owners Day, February 14th. So we were all on the edges of our seat waiting to see how it would happen. Because taking a look at if AtGames made a pinball machine, some folks were like, well, one company has one license, one company has another license. I mean, this still might be a wild stab in the dark. And if you don't agree with me, that's totally fine. I don't care. But in my personal opinion, I think AtGames can make a pinball machine, and they can simply have all the buttons mapped, all the features you want, dual screens. You might even get some haptic feedback. Who knows? They could do whatever they want and get that machine with all the buttons and controls mapped. And all they have to do is stick their platform in there. And if they stick their platform in there and you're able to connect to the internet and log into your Steam account, you now have access to the Pinball Arcade. And they have, about 30 tables on there. And you have access to Pinball FX3. And they have 95, 96 tables on there. So right out of the box, you'll probably have access to 125 pinball games. Not including if, and I've said it before on my other streams, what if they just, gave us 5 or 10 indie titles included? That way you have something included. And I don't even think you need licensing to do that. And they'll have access to all the tables that the other companies are trying to sell you. Hey, you can buy this machine, but it's only got 10 games, or this machine and it's got 12 games, like Toy Shock and Arcade 1UP. And as you know, AtGames is very, very good about giving their fans the ability to bring their own games, which I'm sure that would be a feature as well. And you never know, there's other licenses out there as well. There's old Midway games, there's Atari games from back in the day. You never know, someone might secure those. Last time I checked, the Stern license is still up in the air as well. Toy Shock and Arcade 1UP, no big announcements have come up if they've obtained that license, but I'm sure they're both going for it. So all of us were hoping for this big pinball machine announcement, and unfortunately it didn't happen, which was a little sad. However, they did announce their AtGames Legends Gamer. So when you take a look at their AtGames Legends Gamer, and before we get to that, let's real quick talk about how that day went. So sure enough, earlier in the day, they started doing their announcements. It seemed like every hour on the hour, something special happened. They partnered with Glenn for the Glenn's Retro Show Flight Stick, and they offered a discount. And when I checked with Glenn, I think he sold upwards of 150 of those at the discounted price on that day. as well as they partnered with Joe Sabo, on his artwork kits. I did get some questions on my YouTube channel. I sent Joe a Facebook message. I haven't heard back from him yet. So folks said, hey, the artwork is $330, and a couple of weeks ago it was like $275. I don't know what it was a couple of weeks ago. And then obviously we have I did know the $330 price because I did place my order as well. I asked Joe, hey, I sent him a message saying, hey, why did the price change? Because some folks are asking. I'd like to give them an answer. I'm assuming, and this is full disclosure, I haven't heard back from Joe yet. I think before in the past it was just graphics that you just stick on there. But Joe now has an upgraded or more enhanced graphic kit where he's actually printing the graphics on the plexi for the control deck, for your bezel, going around the monitor, and obviously for the marquee. So I think it's better than just vinyl stickers, if you will. And obviously it's a much better way to install the artwork. Perhaps that's why there's a cost increase. That's what I'm assuming for now, until I hear back from Joe. And Joe can always just comment on the YouTube video or on the Facebook pages and let us know why the price increased. To me, I still think it's a good price because it is a pretty big cabinet. And with the discount, it still came out to around 250-ish bucks. So, I was understanding when I placed my order as well. Also, throughout the day, after those announcements earlier in the day, AtGames then started doing giveaways every hour on the hour. One were on Twitter, one was on their Facebook page, and things of that nature. Now, my opinion of that is I totally understand why they did that, because from a marketing perspective, they wanted to get as many social media impressions as possible. And they wanted to get people on their Twitter page. They wanted to get people on their corporate Facebook page, as well as, of course, we had all the traffic on the official fan page. And I understand from a marketing perspective why you want to do that. You want to introduce people to the Twitter page, get them to follow, grow that Twitter, introduce them to their official Facebook page, and get them to follow it. I totally get it. I think that was a smart move by Chizcom. However, from the casual arcade fan observer point of view, they're like, oh, I had to go here, then I had to go here, then I had to go here. So I could see how it could have been a little confusing for some. Maybe in the future, if they wanted to make it easy and do this kind of thing again, just pick one platform, like, hey, we're just doing it on the Facebook page. That way people aren't hopping all over. But I understand why they did what they did. But it can be confusing to some. Now, taking a look at the AtGames Legends Gamer. So now they announced that we have a new fight stick coming, which for a retail price of $199, which if you ask me, taking a look at the flyer they sent out and the advertisements on the webpage, I think it's a pretty good price for what you're getting. You're getting a connected arcade machine in your lap with some pretty decent built-in controls and the ability to, add and bring your own games for $200. So for those folks who, you didn't like the look of the AtGames Legends Ultimate cabinet because, let's be honest, it has that swan shape to it. And some people don't like swan-shaped arcade machines. Perhaps having the Legends Gamer would be more appealing to you. And also, too, I think it's kind of cool. I did put in my pre-order for one while the pre-orders were still active because I'd love to sit there on the couch with my wife and have that Legends Gamer spread across our laps. Her and I were already talking about it. She's as excited about it as I am because we'll just be able to chill on the couch with some beverages and food or whatever and play some games together. And have them going on our TV. And of course, you're missing a trackball and spinner. I'm a little disappointed that we don't have those in there, but I kind of understand why. Although we're getting plenty of extra buttons. Instead of 6 buttons on each side, you're getting 8 buttons on each side. But no trackball and spinner. But then again, I think this thing is going to be more engineered towards versus gaming. They did announce that there was going to be 150 games included, but it said in the marketing slick 150 arcade and console games. I was really, really excited about that until I saw the word console games. Because out of all the 350 games included on my AtGames Legends Ultimate, the ones I play the least, if never at all, are the console games that came included with it. I know there's some fans out there who love old Atari games and probably love playing those. but those really aren't for me. I like Atari. I like certain Atari games, but I don't like 150 of them. So I really, really hope that AtGames puts way more arcade games and maybe some new stuff we haven't seen yet on this stick. I think this is a great opportunity for them to take advantage of the Taito license that they secured, and put some of those Taito games on there, or if not, add them to Arcadenet, which we will talk about here very soon. So very cool stuff. I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to be a fun product. The biggest concern that I have, that others have also already shared themselves, is the fact that console games might be included. We really need a games list as soon as possible. That would be appreciated. But also, it's not going to be wired. It's not going to have a wire HDMI connection. It's going to be a wireless HDMI connection. So I appreciate AtGames embracing modern technology. However, I'm worried, is there going to be lag? And I'm sure other guys feel the same way. Let's hope no lag, because if there's one thing we don't like in this arcade world, it's lag. So hopefully that'll be a lag-free experience. But still a really, really cool idea. When you take a look at it as well, on the back side of it, you have your ports. So you have your USB ports. So you're going to have the ability to bring your own games. Thank you, AtGames, for doing that. We absolutely love having that feature. Now, I noticed that some folks were giving AtGames a little heat on this product because they put it up for pre-order, and within like 8 hours, the pre-orders were gone. I did like the fact that when you placed your pre-order, they didn't charge you. It was more or less like a reservation, but we're going to charge you later. But AtGames will probably give us plenty of advance notice saying, hey, by the way, it's shipping next month, and this is the date you're going to be charged. It did take your credit card information and all that, but they didn't actually charge you. I thought that was a pretty nice touch. Thanks so much for doing that, AtGames. We don't have shipping dates, we don't have ETA dates, and they got some heat for the product selling out fairly quickly. It sounds to me like they have a batch, or they know they have a batch. It could be 500 units, could be 1,000 units, and maybe those all sold really, really quickly. But as you know, with what's going on with China, with the coronavirus and things of that nature, a lot of these arcade companies, as well as many, many other tech industries, are seriously impacted by what's going on in China. Workers still can't go to work. So that means machines and arcade machines and parts and things are not being built. And this isn't just affecting the video game industry. It's affecting a lot of the technical, computer industry. So we're going to have to cut them some slack there. I hate to say it, but we're going to have to cut them some slack. But then again, there could be other things going on behind the scenes, limiting their production that I simply am not aware of. And, that it could just be, it is what it is. When you look at the AtGames Legends Ultimate, that's another one where they had a run. I'm guessing maybe 1,000 of these are out there in the world. Again, we don't know. I know AtGames then was giving us the ability to pre-order from their website, and all those pre-orders are gone. I think we saw they did get a crate in from China that had a couple more, 100 more units, but those also all sold. So I don't know exactly how many of these are out there. But it'd be nice if things in China could get back to normal. Our thoughts go out to them. Hopefully, they'll get those problems resolved. That way, people can get back to work and get back to living their lives and all that stuff. And maybe we'll see some more stock. We know Toy Shock has been impacted by this. I'm assuming AtGames as well. But again, there could be other things that we don't know about going on behind the scenes. Now, when I take a look at the Legends Gamer, what I like is, and maybe this is your pinball announcement for the month, they did put pinball buttons on the side of the machine. I love it. And as you guys know, PDubs loves pinball. Anytime I can get my hands on pinball, I get super excited. So it's really cool that they put the pinball flipper buttons and the nudge buttons. I already heard some guys say, why not order one of these, rip the guts out of it, and stick it in a pinball machine? It's probably a good idea. Because you're going to have, excuse me, the motherboard and all the wires, everything's like ready. All you got to do is drill some holes and stick it in a pinball machine if you wanted to gut one of these and make a pinball cabinet with it. That's a possible mod with this thing, especially because they're giving you the pinball and flipper buttons. You don't have to tap into anything. I think that's really cool. But then again, if you just want to, have it sitting on your lap in front of the TV and, playing the pinball game with your spirit fingers, that would be a lot of fun as well. So I love the fact, I think it was a really cool touch that they put that on there. We're losing the trackball and spinner, but we're getting pinball flipper and nudge buttons. So I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Overall, how do I feel they did on National Owners Day? Do I give a nod to nod? Do I say, hey, you guys kicked butt? Let me take a look. So when I think about it, guys, in my honest opinion, I feel that the pinball party this year, or so far this month, I'm going to give it probably about a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Let's say 7. All right, yeah, let's round up. Let's say 7. I was going to say 6.5, but let's say 7. And the reason why I'm saying 7 is this. You had to jump around different social media platforms, understandably why, but some folks were like, oh, I'm on Twitter. Oh, is it on the Facebook? Is it on the Twitter? And have to jump around and try to sign up for the giveaways. And I'm sure some people missed out on the giveaways because they probably didn't know where to go fast enough. Also, the discounts with the vendors was really cool, and I'm sure Joe Sabo as well as Glenn from Glenn's Retro Show sold a lot of product, and we got to purchase those at discounts. That was really cool. The giveaways were nice. The things they gave away different things, but in my honest opinion, I think maybe we could have gone a little bit bigger. I think we maybe could have given away an actual arcade machine or something of that nature to really hype it up. The response from the community was overly positive. People really enjoyed the day. I didn't see too many detractors. I saw a lot of promoters on the fan pages. People seemed to be excited about everything that was happening, so that's good. And I think Chizcom, built it up and marketed it pretty well. It's definitely not a perfect score. I think, and you guys will have to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I think after they did the day's events, when they announced the Legends Gamer, I think they came on the Retro Buzz. I was out with my wife because it was Valentine's Day. I think on the Retro Buzz they actually maybe gave away one of these Legends Gamers to a lucky fan. So if that's the case, that's pretty cool. But correct me if I'm wrong if that was a giveaway or not. But the giveaways I think could have been a little bit bigger. There's a lot of folks out there who just want to get their hands on a Legends Ultimate and have been waiting for stock. So for someone to win one, I think that would have been really cool. And then of course, it just didn't seem perfect. I wouldn't say it was a smash hit, home run. They knocked it out of the park. I think it was a really, really good day, and I think they did a really, really good job, and it was their very first type of event like this, National Owners Day. And I think it gives AtGames and Chizcom, their marketing partner, a great level set. Like, here, we've set the table right here. What can we do to make these kind of events bigger and better and more popular down the road? So you never know. In the future, the next National Owners Day might be an 8, a 9, a 10 on a scale of 10. But I'm going to give this one a 7, in my honest opinion. Now, let's switch gears before we end the podcast, because as always, I promise we try to keep these around 20 minutes or less. So taking a look at the different things going on with Arcadenet. So I'm going to share my screen here in just a minute. And for those who are following along on the podcast, I'll just have to read a couple things off to you. It's nothing too crazy, okay? When the Legends Ultimate came out and we had Arcadenet, which are additional games that you can play on your AtGames Legends Ultimate that you stream from the Arcadenet servers. They're different games. They're not the 350 games that are included. And of course, Arcadenet is still in beta. But once it's out of beta, it's going to become a subscription service. And their plan, of course, is to give you the ability in the future. They're going to be adding games, giving you the ability to purchase games, download them to, let's say, your USB or the local machine. That way you can keep the games in case if you ever cancel your Arcadenet subscription, you get to keep what you pay for. A lot of that stuff is coming. When the AtGames Legends Ultimate came out, there were about 2.5 to 3 pages of Arcadenet games. Well, in December, they did add 4 games. They added Bad Street Brawler, they added Birdie Try, they added P47 Aces, and they added Kazan. I might be saying that game wrong. And then in January 21st, and this kind of slipped under the radar, and AtGames really didn't make a big announcement about this. You might have noticed that around January 21st, they added a bunch more games. In fact, if you go to the Arcadenet section of the Legends Ultimate, you'll see instead of 2.5, 3 pages of games, now you have about 5 or 6 pages of games. And I'm going to read these off. Now, keep in mind, none of these are big home run hitters, but they're good to know. So they added Ashura Blaster, Asuka and Asuka, Bang Bead, Bang Bang Busters, Breakers, Breaker's Revenge, Captain Tomaday, Drift Out 94, The Hard Order, Drift Out, Earth Joker, Union Defense Force, Battle Flip Shot, Galmedes, I might be saying that wrong, Ganryu, might be saying that wrong, Super Tank, and The Adventures of Robby Roto. Woohoo! I'm back. He's back. He's back. Okay, guys. So, yes, they've added some additional games to Arcadenet. They're not home runs. However, I did play around over the last week with a bunch of the games, and actually I did put together a quick little video out of all the games they added. We've seen about now 20-some games added since Arcadenet launched. I put together a list of my top 5 games that are on Arcadenet, and I'll be dropping that video for you sometime this week after I finish editing it. That way you can see some gameplay and all that. But if not, I encourage you, don't wait for me. Check them out. Even if you don't have a Legends Ultimate yet, check out those games. See what you think of them. Leave comments below. And let me know what you guys think of those games they added. A lot of them, I'll be honest, probably 90% of those I've never played before. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that video and the top 5 that I came to enjoy that they added recently. But minus that, guys, as a reminder, make sure you follow the podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss any content. Make sure you check out all the playlists on the channel. Got them all nice and organized for you for Arcade 1-Up, AtGames, Toy Shock, and others. And, of course, appreciate you hanging out upstairs with us. Overall, I think National Owners Day was a 7 out of 10. The pinball party is still going. You never know what might happen by the end of the month. It'd be kind of cool if on February 29th, it's Happy Leap Year, we're making a pinball machine. But that's just me, fingers crossed, wishful thinking. Let's see what they end up doing. Okay, guys, that's all I had for you. Thanks so much for giving this podcast a chance and for hanging out with us upstairs. Hope you guys have a great day.